Before the first words of the Quran graced the earth, the Arabian Peninsula was a land of stark contrasts. Great deserts stretched for miles under a relentless sun. Nomadic tribes known as Bedouins roamed these sands. Their lives were a constant cycle of movement, seeking water and pasture for their flocks. Loyalty was not to a nation but to one's clan. This tribal bond provided protection, identity, and a code of honor. Life was often harsh, and survival depended on the strength of your family and tribe. The law of the desert was simple: an eye for an eye, and a life for a life. In the midst of this tribal world, cities like Mecca thrived as bustling centers of trade. Caravans carrying spices, silks, and precious goods crisscrossed the peninsula. The Kaaba, a simple cube-shaped building, stood at its center, housing hundreds of idols. Each tribe had its own gods and goddesses. This period is called the Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance, not because people lacked intelligence but because they lived in spiritual darkness. Social structures were rigid and unforgiving, with great gaps between rich and poor. Orphans had few rights and women were considered property. Some individuals rejected idol worship and searched for the one God of Abraham, but they were few. This was the world into which the Quran would soon arrive. A world of tribalism, polytheism, and social inequality. The people valued poetry and oral tradition, their memories sharp and trained. This cultural landscape was the challenging ground where seeds of divine message would be planted. The stage was set for a revelation that would challenge every aspect of this society. In the city of Mecca, a man named Muhammad lived a life marked by integrity and contemplation. Born into the respected Quraysh tribe, his early life was filled with hardship. His father died before he was born, his mother when he was young. Raised by his grandfather, then his uncle Abu Talib, Muhammad became known as Al-Amin, the trustworthy one. He worked as a merchant for Khadija, a wealthy widow impressed by his character. She proposed marriage, and they built a loving family together. Despite success, Muhammad was troubled by society's greed, injustice, and spiritual emptiness. Seeking solitude and clarity, he retreated to a cave on Jabal al-Nur, the mountain of light. In the quiet darkness of the cave of Hira, he spent days in prayer and meditation. One fateful night in 610 during Ramadan, his life changed forever. While meditating in the cave, a powerful presence appeared, the angel Gabriel. The angel commanded him with a single word: "Iqra, read, recite." Muhammad, illiterate, was terrified and confused. He replied, "I cannot read." The angel embraced him tightly, squeezing until he could barely breathe, then repeated the command. The angel Gabriel revealed the first verses. "Read in the name of your Lord who created man from a clinging substance. Read, and your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man that which he did not know." Shaken and overwhelmed, Muhammad hurried down the mountain to Khadija, trembling and fearing he had gone mad. She comforted him, wrapped him in a cloak, and listened to his incredible story. With unwavering faith, she became the first believer. She assured him God would never forsake a man of his character. The first revelation was just the beginning of a profound spiritual journey spanning 23 years. The words were revealed gradually, allowing early Muslims to absorb teachings in manageable portions. Revelations came in response to specific events, questions, and challenges facing the Muslim community. The experience of receiving revelation was intense for the prophet. His body would grow heavy, his face would flush, and beads of sweat would form even on cold days. Sometimes he heard the sound of a ringing bell, after which words became clear in his heart. Verses revealed in Mecca were shorter, with powerful poetic rhythm, focusing on core theological principles. The absolute oneness of God, the day of judgment, prayer, and moral responsibility. After the migration to Medina, revelations became longer and more legislative. The Muslim community needed guidance on marriage, inheritance, finance, and justice. Medinan verses established rules for warfare and peacemaking. They outlined social and ethical principles governing the Ummah. This gradual revelation provided a complete blueprint for life, moving from foundational beliefs to societal laws, tailored to the evolving needs of the people who first received it. Muhammad faithfully transmitted every word without alteration, understanding he was a vessel for a message not his own. Each revelation perfectly timed for the community's spiritual and practical needs, building a comprehensive guide for all aspects of human life. In a culture celebrating memory and spoken word, the primary preservation method was memorization. As soon as Prophet Muhammad received revelation, he would recite it to his companions. They eagerly committed verses to memory, with incredible capacity honed by oral tradition. Those who memorized large portions were known as hufaz, held in high esteem. The Prophet regularly reviewed revealed portions with Angel Gabriel, especially during Ramadan. This created a living network of preservation. Hundreds had the complete text in their hearts. Writing was also used as secondary preservation. Muhammad designated literate companions as scribes. Whenever new revelation came, he would call a scribe and dictate the exact words. They wrote on flat stones, leather pieces, palm leaves, camel shoulder blades, and wood. These fragments weren't compiled into a single book during the Prophet's lifetime, but verses were arranged in specific order within chapters as instructed by the Prophet. This dual system of mass memorization and careful writing created powerful preservation, ensuring the text was not static script, but dynamic recitation with proper pronunciation, passed from teacher to student in an unbroken chain continuing today. The oral tradition was the bedrock of the Quran's preservation, creating reliable safeguarding from any loss or corruption, with divinely guided structure ensuring perfect transmission. This meticulous preservation method protected the divine message for all generations. After Prophet Muhammad's death in 632, Caliph Abu Bakr faced a grave challenge when many Hufaz died in the Battle of Yamamah. Umar ibn al-Khattab feared parts of the Quran could be lost, and urged Abu Bakr to compile a complete volume. Abu Bakr was initially hesitant but eventually agreed after prayer and discussion. He entrusted the task to Zayd ibn Thabit, a young trusted scribe with exceptional memory. Zayd sought all written fragments, cross-referenced with memorized hufaz, requiring 2 reliable witnesses. After painstaking effort, he compiled all verses into the suhuf, the scrolls. During Caliph Uthman's time, the Islamic Empire expanded rapidly, including diverse peoples with different accents. Slight pronunciation variations began causing confusion and disputes. Uthman commissioned a standardized edition using the original suhuf as reference. The committee created identical copies in the Quraysh dialect for distribution across the empire. Copies were sent to major cities, each with a qualified reciter to teach correct pronunciation. Uthman ordered all non-standard copies destroyed to ensure unity. This standardization ensured every Muslim from Spain to China read the same Quran. As Islam spread across continents, the Quran traveled with it, becoming central to religious life, law, and culture. Calligraphy flourished as artists sought beautiful ways to write the divine words, the book that unified a global civilization through scholarship, law, and spiritual guidance. Today, more than 14 centuries later, the Holy Quran remains the unaltered central pillar for over 2 billion Muslims worldwide. It is far more than historical document. It is the literal, living Word of God. For believers, it provides direct guidance, comfort, and spiritual nourishment throughout life. Daily prayers 5 times a day require recitation of its chapters, especially during Ramadan. Tajweed, melodic recitation, is a cherished skill with worldwide competitions. Millions continue the Hufaz tradition, memorizing the entire text. The Quran is the source of Islamic law, with scholars deriving principles for finance, ethics, and governance. Its teachings on charity, justice, and compassion inspire social betterment worldwide, motivating Muslims to feed the hungry, care for orphans, and stand against oppression. In a fast-paced world, the Quran is a spiritual anchor offering solace in hardship. Its verses appear on mosque walls and in homes as a daily presence. Studied in modern universities, recited from smartphone apps, taught in village schools. The Quran remains dynamic and influential across all contexts. It connects a diverse global community, inspiring lives of meaning, submission, and peace. From the first revelation in a cave to billions of hearts today, the Quran continues its eternal journey. Unchanged, unaltered, and ever relevant. The complete history of humanity's final revelation.